Nanami, Maki, and Nyobito are trapped in a tight spot due to Dagon's domain expansion. They find a way out of a deadly situation with the help of Fushiguro. Toji enters the domain just as the sorcerers are about to use it to skedaddle out of Dagon's domain. He then proceeds to pummel Dagon relentlessly and with terrifying ease, eventually killing him, which destroys the domain. The Jujutsu sorcerers look warily at Toji. The sorcerer-killer slowly strides toward them. Fushiguro is shortly blitzed out of the station to find Toji approaching him. Meanwhile, Jogo appears and mourns for Dagon, before incinerating Nanami, Maki, and Naobito in a blink of an eye. Outside a Shibuya station bathroom, curse-using sisters Nanako and Mimiko feed the unconscious Yuji Itadori one of Sukuna's fingers in an attempt to summon the king of curses. Sensing the finger's cursed energy, Jogo finds the sisters quickly. He attacks them and approaches Yuji. Jogo recalls Gato's plan to feed the young sorcerer multiple fingers so that his body doesn't have time to resist transferring control to Sukuna. Jogo reaches into his clothing and pulls out a rolled-up piece of cloth, which holds 10 fingers. He force-feeds all of them to Yuji. Sukuna surfaces and grants the Hasaba sisters an ear to ask whatever they want for the finger. They offer him one more finger, but only if he kills the imposter living inside their late master. Annoyed at the measly yet overconfident offer, Sukuna perishes them without so much as a response. He then turns to Jogo, who says he wants nothing, as their plan was to revive Sukuna completely. He asks Sukuna to make a pact with Yuji and revive him fully. Sukuna has a plan of his own and does not want Jogo or anyone else to do so. He then makes a deal with Jogo. If he can lay a hand on him, he will work under Jogo's team. He'll even kill every human in Shibuya. Jogo asks Sukuna if he'll be true to his word. Megumi faces Toji Fushiguro on an empty street littered with broken glass. He recognizes that Toji has physical abilities similar to, but far surpassing, Maki Zenin, calling him the perfect version of her. Just as Megumi summons a tidal wave of Shikigami rabbits to obscure Toji's path, he's shocked to sense the aura of Sukuna's fingers nearby. Megumi snaps out of it and attempts to flee while the rabbits flood Toji, but his attacks are unrelenting. He follows Megumi into an abandoned building, easily deflecting attacks from both the Jujutsu sorcerer and his Shikigami. Toji takes out almost all of the summoned hairs, with the debris flying from an explosive impact on the floor. A pause amid their fight sees Toji reminiscing about the day he sold his son to the Zenins. He asks Megumi for his name, and he responds with Fushiguro, making Toji satisfied with the way he turned out. He promptly stabs himself in the head and returns to the great beyond. Fushiguro then heads towards Shoko, but is attacked from behind by Haruta. Jujutsu sorcerers Kusakabe and Panda finish their sweep of the Shibuya stream building. Now that Inumaki Toge has cleared the streets of both people and transfigured humans, Panda wants to get to Satoru Gojo's location in the station. Kusakabe points out there could still be people hiding in Shibuya, so they shouldn't give up the search quite yet. Meanwhile, Jogo takes on Sukuna, and despite his city-demolishing attacks, he can't so much as lay a finger on Sukuna, who ultimately burns Jogo to a crisp with his fire powers. In reality, Kusakabe is just stalling for time so that someone else takes care of the situation with Gojo. He knows he'd likely die if he approaches whoever is down there. While he's thinking of more excuses, Kusakabe and Panda sense the presence of 2 curse users behind them. Kusakabe proposes that they have a nice long talk instead of fighting. Jogo reunites with Nanami and Dagon in the White Void, where Sukuna congratulates him for being a good opponent. Sukuna is shortly greeted by Uraume, a curse user from his past. Haruta and an unconscious Megumi are being attacked by a strange creature. In a dire state after Haruta's sneak attack, Megumi resorts to the final counter, summoning the ultimate Shikigami called Mahoraga, who has never been tamed by anyone, and it promptly flicks Megumi and goes to attack Haruta, who is quickly moved out of the way by Sukuna, who realizes he must dispose of Mahoraga so that the ritual does not end up killing Megumi. Sukuna has plans for Megumi, so he can't let that happen. Sukuna's objective is simple: defeat Mahoraga. He activates his domain expansion, called Malevolent Shrine, and slashes anything and everything and everyone to oblivion. Mahoraga is finally defeated. Sukuna promptly drops off Megumi's body near other sorcerers so he can be healed. He then arrives near the destruction that he's caused in his battle just as Yuji is about to wake up. Yuji is aghast and shocked beyond his mind before giving in to all the despair. However, he does compose himself for the fight ahead. Nanami, half-burnt, walks down the subway. Yuji slowly makes his way downstairs to the depths of Shibuya Station. Voices from the past ring in his ears with every step, from the familiar voice of his grandfather to the taunts of cursed spirits. Yuji is still in a daze after regaining control of his body from the King of Curses, Sukuna, and he struggles to come to terms with everything that's happened in the past few hours. Nearby, another figure trudges through the dark hallways of the station, but in his mind, Kento Nanami feels a refreshing ocean breeze and warm sunshine caress his face. He walks along glittering sand, the waves calmly crashing beside him. In reality, Nanami barely clings to life as he staggers along, horrifically burned by Jogo's fiery touch. He passes cursed spirit Mahito without sensing his presence. Transfigured human standing in front of him. His mind is still elsewhere as he daydreams about building a home on a secluded beach in Malaysia. He briefly wonders what happened to the other Jujutsu sorcerers. As exhausted as he is, Nanami's body takes over by instinct, disposing of the transfigured creatures one after another. In his daydream, Nanami smiles and relaxes as he breathes in the ocean air, body whole and healed. In Shibuya, each swing is an effort. As Nanami cleaves through the creatures, Yuji hears the sounds of the struggle and runs ahead. As the last transfigured human falls, Nanami finally senses Mahito behind him. He gently touches Nanami's back, and the diligent Jujutsu sorcerer knows his end is here. Nanami sees his high school friend Yu Haibara, a sorcerer slain by a cursed spirit years ago, standing before him, just as Yuji finds them. Yuji stares in shock for a moment before he screams and rushes toward Mahito, slipping on the gore from Nanami's last stand as he runs. The cruel, cursed spirit releases transfigured human after transfigured human, aware that Yuji hates to hurt innocent creatures. Mahito fights with relish, mocking and tormenting the young Jujutsu sorcerer to throw him off his game. He cuts a deep gash across Yuji's face. Yuji asks the cursed spirit how he can destroy countless lives. Mahito grins and only answers that the two of them are the same. Yuji realizes that Nanami wouldn't lose himself to anger and taps into his cursed energy with renewed focus. Mahito transforms his stored human beings into a wall of flesh. The Jujutsu sorcerer and the special-grade cursed spirit trade devastating blows as the wall closes in. Yuji turns a corner and comes upon two humans. He starts to speak with them and realizes it's one of Mahito's tricks. Mahito emerges from the mouth of one of the men. As Mahito turns the other human into a grotesque sword, he recalls how he had laid a trap to keep Yuji off balance earlier in the evening. The cursed spirit divided into two Mahitos. One went into the lower station while the other went street-side. As Mahito feels confident because his double that he had previously created to quickly find Yuji has been battling Nobara, and Mahito's plan to further shatter Yuji is by showing him her corpse.